Good afternoon, welcome. We'd first like to conduct our flag raising ceremony. BVA will present the flags to B&L Fire and Police. Good afternoon. Welcome as we remember our 16th anniversary of the attacks on our nation. I'm Tim Kelly, Chief Fire Rescue. I just want to say I do appreciate everyone turning out for our ceremony and never forgetting the events of that day. We remember the victims, their families, and all that survived. We also remember the first responders of that day. 343 firefighters, 71 police officers, and 2 paramedics. And since that day, there's been another group that responded that day and every day since 9/11/2001. It's been the men and women of our United States military. They have died and suffered, and thank you for their service. I'd like to introduce Doon Gibbs, Director of the laboratory.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to start just by thanking you all very much for coming to this 16th anniversary of 9/11. These occasions, for me, are always very somber, but also constructive and healing when we're finished. And so I very much appreciate that all of you are here today and that so many of you continue to come. Before we jump into it, let's just take a moment and remember all of the people who are currently either facing the hurricanes, Irma and Harvey, or recovering from them. And as a matter of our security, let's keep in mind that Hurricane Jose is still out there. So we'll keep an eye on Jose in the next few days. As was mentioned, it's been 16 years since 9/11. The attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and on Shanksville. And the memories of that day, I think for all of us, and the recovery efforts that followed are still quite vivid in all of our minds. In the days that came after 9/11, people came together, as they still are now, 16 years later. They came together as firefighters, EMTs, as blood donors and as fundraisers, but also as family, friends, citizens, absolutely New Yorkers, and also members of the global community. We've never forgotten. Not in the United States, certainly not in New York, and also not here at Brookhaven Lab. Members of the Radiological Assistance Program, the RAP team, were there, among many others from Brookhaven who went to Ground Zero. The RAP team scanned for potential nuclear threats, and in that provided unique services and expertise that our nation needed during a critical time. That was a special moment, but that's the kind of service, that's one of the roles that national laboratories have, to deliver in times of national need, and in that case, immediately. In a moment, the Deputy Chief of our Fire Rescue Group and 2 members of the RAP team will lay a wreath at this memorial. I would just like to ask you that as they do that, remember that wherever you work at Brookhaven, whether it's in F&O, in CAD, in biology, non-proliferation, wherever you're from, we as a national laboratory every day contribute to the science and technology that is helping both to power as well as to secure the nation's future. That's the department's mission, and that's also ours. It's an important mission, and it's something that all of us can take pride in every day, but also today as we remember our nation's response to 9/11 and all that followed. So I would just like again to thank you all very much for coming here today to be with us, and with that, Frank, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doon. I'm Frank Crescenzo, the DOE Site Office Manager. Thank all of you for coming here today. And as we gather today to honor the memory of those who died on September 11th, 2001, I want to also thank the military, the law enforcement, emergency response, intelligence communities, and the Homeland Security communities for their contributions, not only that day, but ongoing even today. Now, we all share common and personal tragic memories of that day and the days that follow. However, I cannot forget how our nation came together during that national crisis. Although our state, our city, our community was attacked, and our neighbors, our friends and family were killed or harmed that day, every American shared our pain. Every American became a New Yorker. Every American came to our nation's support like I've never seen before or since. Much has changed since 2001. Lower Manhattan has been rebuilt, and the Freedom Tower stands tall in testament to the city's resilience. Much has been done to guard against another attack on the United States, and Brookhaven National Lab has supported that effort, and the Department of Energy and the American people are grateful for your dedication. Today, as we commemorate the citizens of more than 90 countries who perished in the 9/11 attacks, we honor and celebrate the resilience of individuals, families, and communities. And in our hearts and through this memorial, we remember our family members, our friends, and our co-workers. Thank you.
Would now like to lay the memorial wreath. Deputy Chief Marcel Rosenfeld, Andrea Eppel, RAP team, Dennis Ryan, RAP team.
Group 10, cut. And salute.
Appreciate everyone turning out, and never forget, thank you.